Link TV, connecting you to the world. Link TV is viewer supported. Watch more at linktv.org.
Today on Earth Focus, Google Earth enables Indians in the Amazon to preserve their culture and protect the environment. We'll see how. In South Africa, Chinese cook stoves are saving money and lives. We have a report. When it comes to energy, we'll see how a small Texas town reaps the benefits of wind. And we'll meet the winners of the 2009 Brower Youth Awards, Outstanding Young Environmentalists Reshaping Their World. All coming up on Earth Focus. When the Amazon's Suruwee Indians first had contact with outsiders, it almost destroyed them. Today, contact with a different kind of outsider, Google Earth, is helping the Suruwee protect their culture and save their rainforest home. California-based filmmaker Denise Smikol visited Brazil to tell their story.
Nós índios já temos jeito de viver na floresta. Nós não precisamos de matar para viver. Em 1969 foi contado. Aí nós encontrou o taperi da praia, cheio da panela, cheio do facão. Quando nós levaram, ele botou mais ainda. Pensaram que esse pessoal branco está dando muito presente. Juntava toda a liderança, meu pai. Vamos chegar então. Pegou a mão. Foi assim contato. Assim que contato, pegou doença. Era meu povo 5.000 pessoas. Ficou 290 e pouco pessoas.
Naquela época, quando o pessoal começou a explorar madeira na nossa área, nós tínhamos 24 anos de contato.
Invasão da terra indígena é um contínuo, né?
Quem defende a floresta passa pela essa vida. Começaram a me ameaçar madeireiros, as pessoas. Já foram mortos 11 lideranças. Meu povo não estava preparado ainda para se defender, ou não sei que seja usar arco e flecha, né? Mas a gente não podia fazer isso mais, então nós tínhamos que se preparar e buscar esse diálogo com a sociedade que não é nossa.
Olá. Chief Almir asked the Amazon Conservation Team to bring him to Google to meet with us after he himself had used Google Earth in an internet cafe.
Dentro de mim, né, estava alertando a necessidade de usar tecnologia, internet, para mostrar a situação da minha terra indígena.
Muito importante a chegada dele aqui. Eu fico contente, fico feliz com isso. Por isso estou me pintando, mostrar a minha cultura para ele.
E a única coisa que eu tinha para trazer eles ao meu lado é oferecer o etnomapeamento cultural que o meu povo tinha feito.
Chief Almir saw some of our work with mapping, and he really thought that would be something that would be very useful for the Suruwee people to do their own cultural map, to map their culture, which is something they hadn't done yet, would be something that would strengthen them.
So you map an area of the rainforest, and then you go back with the Indians and you remap it in more detail, and what that gives you is information, and information is power.
They mapped their sacred sites, cultural sites, where they hunt, where they fish, where they gather medicinal plants, the site of first contact. What they wanted to do is take that information about their history and their culture and put that in Google Earth. And we became convinced in talking with Chief Almir that we could help.
Okay, the first thing to do is to move the earth. So the way you do that is you click with the left mouse button, hold it down, and then move the mouse.
Many of them had, in fact, never touched a computer before. And so we developed special training materials, sort of dialing everything back to the very, very basics.
This button is to search Google for the word that you put in this box.
We found that search was the toehold, in a way. The first searches I saw them do were Povos Indigenous do Brazil, the indigenous people of Brazil. So I was encouraged by that because I thought they sort of got it, that this is their opportunity for them to tell the story of the Suruí.
E eu tenho certeza que enquanto a gente fazer essa parceria com a internet, nós vamos estar entrando não sei quantos milhões de pessoas que acessam o Google.
Só para vocês verem o vídeo que tem no
His idea was if we could teach the young people how to use YouTube, how to use digital photographs, how to interview the elders, record this content, attach it to Google Earth, it would be a way of strengthening their culture, preserving their history, and sharing their culture with the world. Google Earth is such a powerful tool for projects like Chief Almir's because it allows you to put the Suruí people on the map and to show what's at stake with deforestation encroaching upon their lands. Chief Almir has organized a project to reforest 7,000 hectares of their land that had been illegally logged. And they want to gain access to the carbon offset marketplace because they will be helping to avert climate change.
Durante 10 anos, a gente quer plantar mínima 1 milhão de mudas. Sabemos que sozinho a ninguém não constrói nada, né? Então nós também não podemos discutir o futuro do mundo sozinho. E assim a gente quer manter a nossa contribuição ao bem-estar do nosso planeta, a partir da nossa sabedoria que usamos da floresta para oferecer isso.
A new stove design from China can help South Africans cook more efficiently and improve their health in the process. Rockhopper TV, a production company based in the United Kingdom, looked into the story, and here's the report.
Half of the world's population still cook with wood or coal on open fires and stoves. And now, with the majority of the world's population living in cities, many in extreme poverty, this is not just a rural problem.
1.6 million people die because of breathing this smoke, and our planet is threatened by that same smoke. Stoves are the most direct, most affordable way of addressing climate change. You know what I love?
The Aprovecho Research Centre has been designing improved, more efficient cook stoves for 20 years. Now they're bringing them into production on an unprecedented scale.
One of the really important things is bringing the project to scale. We need millions and millions of stoves to be able to mitigate these serious problems.
In China, they have finally found their ideal factory, the Shengju stove manufacturer. Mines in the area produce a rare, lightweight clay. It's mixed in very precise proportions, moulded to Aprovecho's design, and fired in a traditional Chinese kiln. The combustion chamber is light enough not to draw heat away from the cooking pan, but durable enough to last.
This one's fired. Wow.
sheet metal is sculpted to make the stove casing, and then the stoves are assembled. The Shengju stove manufacturer can produce 500,000 cheap, efficient biomass stoves a year. But when you're producing such vast numbers, quality is crucial.
The important thing when you're trying to have a low emission stove is everything has to be done very well. So every stove has to be made to exacting tolerances that really can only be made in a factory like this.
Factory owner Mr. Shen is confident that every stove leaving the factory will be made precisely to the approved design.
We quality check at all stages. We take samples from every batch of the finished product, send them to the lab and check the amount of smoke and carbon monoxide that is released.
What is unique about this project is that now we finally have a supply chain of really improved cook stoves. We brought the know-how to do that. The factory is an expert in manufacturing. And then the last part of it is the distribution chain. What to do, how to do it, how to get it to the folks who need it.
At the moment, we are in Alexander. We're in a township called Alexander. Here, people are living in shacks. They have no electricity. They have no running water. I think it's one of the poorest communities around this country. They're using coal and wood and paraffin to cook.
Paraffin used to take most of our family income. We are not all employed. We used to spend lots of money and sometimes ended up borrowing to pay for paraffin.
These efficient factory-made stoves can have a massive impact on the lives of people living in conditions like these.
At first, I was worried about the stove. I did not trust it and thought maybe they had given us something which doesn't work. But after lighting it, I felt so good and happy. There's a big difference between the paraffin stove and this one. The children are no longer coughing. I use it day in and day out with no problems at all.
These stoves are going to save lives, you know. These stoves, people are going to save money. These stoves, they are energy efficient. So it means you can also save some money and buy food, extra food for your family.
Aprofetcho's efficient, improved cook stove has made its way from research centre to quality mass production. Now with distribution partner GTZ, the stoves are reaching the homes of those that need them most.
The small Texas town of Roscoe is home to one of the world's largest wind farms. With 627 turbines, the Roscoe Wind Farm can power more than 250,000 Texas homes, and that can mean big bucks for the local economy. Chilean journalist Nacho Corbella filed this report from Roscoe in association with the School of Journalism at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill.
Through the 80s and 90s in this decade, farming has been very, very tough. Roscoe had declined for the last 50 years. We lost our Dairy Queen about 10 years ago, and we knew we were in trouble then, because that's a mark of a surviving community, I think. It's the same situation that's happened all over rural America. But with the wind energy industry coming to this area, now we have young people returning to Roscoe from college, staying here out of high school, attending our technical school here and educating themselves on the wind industry and having permanent jobs available to them. It's a 180-degree attitude change in our culture around here because we've always cussed the wind. The wind has been so terrible, it's so hard on our crops, but we're able to sell the wind. We don't own the wind, we own the rights to the wind. And it cost us nothing. And as opposed to oil and gas, we've got an endless supply. It's just an amazing situation for us that we're able to take advantage of. Finally, something for our area. We have a chance here of something significant happening for Roscoe, Texas. We can bring Roscoe back, that we can see some positive effects here, and we won't be totally dependent on our farming income here. Our horizons have changed. And these windmills not only are generating electricity and making money and offsetting, doing all the green good, but they're a symbol of progress, an effort to clean up our act. It's a really deep feeling of maybe we did something right. Every once in a while, someone will stop into this community and ask me, what are those big white windmill-looking things for out there? When it gets real calm and still and hot around here, that we turn those things on to give us a little bit of a breeze and cool us off a little bit.
6 young environmentalists, all under the age of 23, were honored for their outstanding achievements on October 20th, 2009. They received the Brower Youth Award, a $3,000 prize in San Francisco's Herbst Theater. The awards are presented annually by the Earth Island Institute, a California-based public interest group that supports creative environmental solutions. Among this year's winners is 16-year-old Ardasha Shivakumar of Pleasant Hill, California, who found a biofuel solution for rural India. Here is his story.
I think my generation and young people in general are not only uniquely capable, but we have no other choice but to make the shift towards a more sustainable way of life in general. I'm Ardasha Shivakumar, and I'm trying to create a more sustainable way of life in rural South India to help poor farmers and the environment.
With the help of his sister Apurva and the cash prize that he received for winning the California State Spelling Bee, Adarsha founded Project Jatropha to promote the Jatropha plant as an ecologically friendly and economically sustainable source of biofuel in rural India. The project helps to empower local farmers and women's self-help groups by supplying Jatropha seedlings and then buying back the valuable Jatropha seeds at a fair market price.
If we as a generation fail, everybody's going to pay the price. But if we succeed, we're not only going to save ourselves, but we're going to save future generations and this planet.
Earth Island created this Brower Youth Award about a decade ago, to honor the life and work of David Ross Brower. It's important to know that my grandfather would have really enjoyed this award ceremony. He was completely inspired by youth.
David Brower was not only inspired by youth, he saw young people as the architects of our planet's future. He sought to encourage their awareness and activism to protect our global natural heritage. David Brower was one of the great environmental leaders of the 20th century. He died in November of 2000 at the age of 88, leaving behind an unparalleled legacy. He founded groups like Friends of the Earth, the League of Conservation Voters, and the Earth Island Institute, and also served as the first executive director of the Sierra Club. He helped establish 9 national parks and seashores, and played a key role in the passage of the Wilderness Act of 1964. David Brower's legacy is a hard one to live up to, but 2009 Brower Award winner Sierra Crane Murdoch does. At age 21, she already helped unite a national movement to battle coal plants. Here's her story.
I'm inspired by the people whose health have been, threatened as a result, whose families have been threatened, and still they keep on fighting. I'm Sierra Murdoch, and I am working to connect people all across the country who are being impacted by the irresponsible use and burning of coal.
Sierra served as national coordinator of the Power Past Coal Project, an effort to unite, for the first time in history, a nationwide movement of people who know coal is unjust and have the stories to prove it. Through marches, lobby days, rallies, and acts of nonviolent civil disobedience, Power Past Coal helped amplify the voices of coal-impacted communities across the nation. Over the course of Power Past Coal's 100 days of action, 5 mountaintop removal permits were suspended across Appalachia, and several communities were able to stop construction of coal-fired power plants.
In the 10 years since the Brower Youth Awards were launched, winners continue to make an enormous impact.
So these folks here tonight are 6 out of 61 winners who've won over the last 10 years, all of them under 31 years of age, who are responsible for some of the most impressive environmental and social justice victories that we've seen. They've helped establish some of the nation's strongest university green building standards. They've secured $750,000 for youth jobs. They led the campaigns in Rhode Island for an e-waste program. They led the campaign here in California for safe cosmetics. They led the toxic toys bill. And as we heard tonight, they have helped stop the construction of 20 coal-fired power plants.
The youngest of the 2009 Brower Award winners is 15-year-old Californian Alex Lors. He's also the youngest presenter of Al Gore's The Climate Project. Here's his story.
Well, I think this whole generation can kind of feel that there's something going on. We can feel that there's a crisis, and we're ready to do whatever we can to fix it. My name is Alec Lors. I'm 15 years old, and I founded Kids vs. Global Warming.
Alec founded Kids vs. Global Warming at the age of 12 after seeing Al Gore's climate documentary, An Inconvenient Truth. Since then, Alec has given hundreds of presentations, spearheaded multiple global warming education projects around Ventura County, and inspired hundreds of other kids to do the same in their communities across the nation.
Well, I guess one of the main resources I give to kids is just teaching them about the climate crisis and educating them about the science in ways they can understand. I use some of the same slides as Al Gore's, but I kind of grungify some of them a little bit, just so that it's more exciting for kids to look at. I like to use videos and music and social networking so the kids are excited about learning and they're excited about getting involved. I think this whole generation can feel inside of them that there's a crisis. They just need someone to tell them that they actually can do something about it.
The Brower Youth Awards are part of the New Leaders Initiative program of the Earth Island Institute. The Institute supports people who create solutions to protect the planet and is an incubator for environmental startups. For 25 years, the Institute has been a hub for grassroots campaigns that can respond quickly to key environmental issues. The Institute sponsors projects ranging from marine mammal conservation and reef protection to the conservation of sacred indigenous lands. Among the 2009 Brower Award winners is 20-year-old Diana Lopez, an organic food pioneer from Texas. Here's her story.
Environmental justice to me means when communities come together and fight for our neighborhoods, fight for sidewalks, fight for clean air, fight for schools and parks and recreation. My name is Diana Lopez. I'm the environmental justice organizer with Southwest Workers Union here in San Antonio.
The Southwest Workers Union is an organization of low-income workers and families, community residents, and youth united in one organizational struggle for worker rights, environmental justice, and community empowerment. Diana is the driving force behind the Roots of Change Community Garden, a groundbreaking project that is helping redefine environmental justice in our San Antonio community and beyond.
And we are also part of this community, and there's not a lot of places in San Antonio where young people could say, we want more green spaces, we want a park. The garden is one of those spaces.
The Roots of Change Community Garden teaches local youth and other residents about gardening, nutrition, sustainable technology, and food security, while also producing fresh organic fruits and vegetables which are scarce in this low-income neighborhood.
The Institute's Brower Award winners may have few resources, but they have energy and drive and accomplish great things. Great things like 22-year-old Californian Hai Vo, who transformed food purchasing at the University of California. Here's how he did it.
My greatest dream is to be able to sustain myself and the communities of people in the world as ecologically sound as possible. My name is Hai Vo. I'm part of the Real Food Challenge, and I organize youth around sustainable food systems here at the University of California, Irvine.
The Real Food Challenge is a national movement to increase the procurement of real food on college and university campuses. As co-founder of the Real Food Challenge at the University of California, Irvine, Hai spearheaded a trailblazing study of the university's institutional food procurement and its effects on the food system and its myriad stakeholders.
Growing up, I was pretty husky, pretty heavy. I saw someone who was unhealthy, and I didn't know how that Hai at that time got to where he was.
Under Hai's leadership, over 500 students, faculty, and community members formed the first ever Real Food educational series.
We had movie screenings, panels, dinners, going on farm tours.
He brought together his peers, he brought together different parts of the university, he brought together community groups, and he made people feel that what they were producing was a communal project.
21-year-old Robin Bryan of Manitoba, Canada, was also among this year's awardees. He helped protect 1 million acres of Canadian forest from industrial logging. Here's his story.
What really inspires me is the possibility that my life might actually have a lasting impact, a positive impact on the people of the world and future generations. I'm Robin. I live here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, and I work as the outreach coordinator for the Wilderness Committee Manitoba chapter.
Manitoba is home to the largest section of intact wild boreal forest left on Earth, but much of Manitoba's forests have already been heavily impacted by logging and mining. Robin's organizing was instrumental in a landmark campaign victory that protected nearly 1 million acres of forests in Manitoba's parklands, and he continues to work vigorously to protect Canada's remaining boreal forests once and for all. Robin's outreach efforts generated tens of thousands of letters and helped create a critical mass of support for saving the boreal forests. In November 2008, the government of Manitoba announced a ban on nearly all logging in provincial parks.
That's 1 million acres of provincial parkland that was once in danger of being logged, that's moved out of that category and will be protected from this harmful activity in our parks.
Link TV is the only U.S. network dedicated to global and national news, uncompromising documentaries, and diverse cultural programs. Programs which connect you to the world. To learn more, visit linktv.org.